Hello, everybody. Welcome to therapy. I'm your co host, Neva from the Neva J podcast, and the other co host.
Hi, it's Merrick, the other co-host of Therapy. Happy to be with you.
Yeah, you see, Merrick has been learning some magic tricks where she can make herself disappear and then appear again. Oh, gosh. But anywho, yeah, there's I know I look like I'm like being held hostage somewhere, but I'm just at a different room in my house. So today we will be making burnout. And burnout is I'll be making it one way with Angry Orchard hard cider. Don't know if you can see that. And then I'll do some Fireball in there. That's how I'll be making the burnout. And the burn is coming from the Fireball. Merrick will be making it more of like a, are you making it more like a?
Yeah, so whoa, I have Honeycrisp apple cider unfiltered from Trader Joe's. I think I got a new Trader Joe's as of Friday, so I got my cider there and I heated it up so it's hot apple cider, and then I also have a little Fireball that I'll be putting in there. I
Yeah.
like this drink, especially in the fall. I mean, anytime winter, but like fall when it's like the weather's changing and I'm at a football game and I'm tailgating and just having some hot apple cider and some Fireball whiskey warms me up.
Yeah, she's making hers like hot toddy style, where I'm making mine's double on the liquor. Because the Angry Orchard has liquor, and then I'm adding the Fireball. Which is, hey, that's what burnout does to you, man.
Right.
Yeah, so basically, so like burnout, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the term or feeling it. It's just like, what would you say it is? It's just,
Yeah, I mean, it's not a term that just applies to like the social work field. I feel like in any career or field, you could experience burnout. And it's being exhausted with your job to the point of maybe not performing at your best. And I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, so we should also talk about like how to prevent burnout. And then I was thinking, well, like how does one prevent burnout? And obviously like we could talk about self-care and that's being important, and
yeah.
setting boundaries and limits for yourself is all, really important. But like one thing that like I think prevents it, and it's like kind of outside our control, is like our employers showing appreciation for our work. And I think that that's like a big factor. Like when you're appreciated at a job,
It gives you purpose.
yeah, it gives you purpose. You're being
Yeah.
acknowledged for your work, because like social workers, like we're all working hard, we're all like overworked, we all have like crazy caseloads, underpaid. Like all we want to do is like help people that are in these like really really difficult, like shitty situations. And yeah, if you're not careful, you will experience burnout. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so like Merrick said, burnout is just feeling completely depleted and exhausted. I kind of feel that right now. Like this weekend, I've taken a few naps, and usually I'm not like napping like that. But and my husband's like, "Why are you so freaking tired?" And I'm like, "Hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just am." But so like the way, so basically like Merrick said, some ways that you can prevent burnout is setting boundaries is one.
Mhm.
Like a lot of like if you don't have to have your work email on your phone, don't do it. That's like one way to set boundaries, because I know I've been guilty of having it on there. So then I feel like I need to respond to emails coming in at 8 p.m. on like after work hours or during the weekend, or I feel like I need to read these emails, and then I get myself hot and bothered because I'm reading these emails that are getting me worked up. And it's like, why am I doing that? Like, it's after work hours. Don't look at my emails. So that's one way to set some like appropriate boundaries. Learn how to say no.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, you don't need to do everything and be the only person that people can come to. Like, you just need to say no sometimes. And like, and as part of a social worker, our job is like providing people with the resources and empowering them to be able to do things themselves, not doing things for them all the time, because then that's just burning you out.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of a situation you told me about the other day, when you were, going like having a rough day yourself, and then you pop up at your office and like a teacher is there and like needing your support, but you did a good job of setting that boundary and telling the teacher like, can I check in with you later today? Like I have something going on. Like you didn't have the space for her
Right.
to, at that time. And it's not like you were like, please get out of my office, like see you never, but you were like, can I check in with you later in the day? Now is not really a good
Yeah.
time. And it's hard. I think it's hard for social workers in general to do, especially like young social workers. But as you become more experienced in the field, you realize like you have to do that. Like if you're gonna survive and you're gonna stay in this field and be relatively good at what you do, you have to do that.
Right. Right. And I even think like, we were talking at one of our, like we do a team clinical case, like clinical meeting twice a week. And we were talking at one of them because a lot of us have been saying how we feel so depleted and so exhausted. So our supervisor was asking like, what are things that you're doing outside of your role? What are some things that you could give up and not do so that you feel like you have more time to do what you need to do and not feel like you're being stretched thin? And so she was like, so what we one of our social workers is like always like I don't know, like she'll volunteer herself to do things.
Yeah.
And then it ends up becoming a team thing. Like it's like she volunteered herself and doesn't have the time and is being stretched thin. So then us being the nice humans we are, we're like, oh, what can we do to help? And then it ends up being a whole team thing and we take on these big like school-wide projects. And so I was just like, well, she needs to stop volunteering herself
All of us.
so we're not volunteer too, like not voluntold.
Yeah.
I'm like, so we're not being voluntold to like do things as well, because by virtue of like wanting to help her out so that she's not like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we don't have to like do everything. We really don't. Let's let people problem solve and step up to the plate and do things themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And like another thing, like another major thing. If you feel like you are at a job where you just like Merrick was saying earlier, like the quality of your work is slipping, you just don't care anymore, you're just trying to get by, it's time to change fields. Like, like this is the beauty of our degree as social workers. It's very versatile. Like we could work in a hospital, we can be in a clinical setting and provide like back-to-back therapy. We can do more like macro stuff on a bigger scale. We can do case management. Like we are everywhere pretty much.
Yeah. And I've used that. Like, I mean, I think you and I both have, like I chose social work, one of the reasons, like for that reason, because it was so versatile and there were so many different settings and populations that I could work with. I like that because I tend to be somebody, and I knew this about myself and it was important, but I tend to be somebody that like kind of gets bored with something, or like if I feel like I've conquered it and like achieved what I'm going to achieve in there, like in order to not be burnt out, I need a new challenge. I need a new place to like figure out all the puzzle pieces and put them together. So I've taken advantage of that. And, like we've talked about on other shows, like worked in the community residence, worked in a hospital, worked in a counseling center and a college campus, working now in a school district, which I'm happy working in a school district. I like to say that like there's not too much change left for me, but who knows, if I get to that point, like knowing that I could change it up again is comforting, just to know that.
Yeah. And And the thing is like, we can work with people across the age spectrum. Like you could work with the geriatric population. And then if you feel like, okay, I'm tired of these cranky old Bettys,
Yep.
then you could go to the other end of the spectrum and work with kids. And it's like, I've worked with the older population and then done the college kids, and now I'm with the younger population. But
Yeah.
it's like, if you don't feel guilty, um, if you have to change sceneries, like, you will know when you've had enough. Like I've been in settings where I'm just like, I don't care. like seriously. And it's like, and I know when I don't care, because it'll be like, they'll say, oh, so and so like fell and broke her hip and she needs a social worker. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why is she always
Yeah.
breaking her fucking hip? I'm like, why don't you break the other one? And it's like, and it's
Right.
like, these are the thoughts that goes through my head, and like, there's no empathy. It's just like straight like nastiness. And when I get to that point, I'm like, shit, I'm burnt out. Like, it's
Right.
time I do something else, because
Right.
it's not going to be beneficial for me, and it's not going to be beneficial for my clients, for me to come towards at them with that negativity.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
serves nobody.
I was just thinking, like, when I was in social work school, I remember like learning about burnout, and I was like so fearful of it. Like I was like, oh my God, there's this thing that could happen, and like I might not even like my like job anymore. And like, oh my God, like I have to prevent that from happening. I just thought it was like a thing you could like get to, and like it would probably be something you'd get to at the end of your career, like when you're like old and like you're in your 60s about to retire. Like that's when you hit burnout, and you have to like try to prevent it the whole time. But then now that I've been in the field, I'm like, no, like burnout can happen at any stage. It will happen. You have to recognize that it's happening and do something to change it. So it's like, I don't know, I kind of think of like a pendulum. I can't say it.
Pendulum.
Pendulum. or on a continuum or something. Like it swings, it kind of swings back and forth. There's going to be times when you're getting closer to that burnout, but you can do stuff to like swing it back.
Yeah.
And I think it's just important to kind of check yourself and know, where you're at.
Right. And and another thing you can do is, I know Merrick said self-care. And I know a lot of us social workers, we talk about self-care, but we don't partake in it.
Yeah.
Which is our downfall. But
Yeah.
like, say, because I know people who are afraid of taking a day off, or taking a vacation.
Ooh,
Merrick.
you know someone like that?
Merrick. Stacking them days. I'm like, Merrick, you can't take them to your grave. You cannot. On her tombstone, it'll say, "Here lies Merrick with 150,000 PTO days."
Oh my God. That's hilarious, but sad at the same time.
But like, I know, so besides Merrick, like, there are other people who are afraid to take days off work, and like take the vacation days that you've earned. And it's like, sometimes you have to do that to reset, take a freaking sick day. And like, even if you're not sick, oh my God, no one's gonna come and arrest you. Like, take a sick day if you're not sick, and just like do something fun, chill, like relax, enjoy yourself,
Right. We always say that we're gonna do like a hooky day, and we'll like take the sick day like at the same day. I mean, this was before COVID, but I'd like to do it after COVID, where we both take a sick day on the same day and like do something together. That's badass.
Yeah, seriously. Because it's like, at the end of the day, what you need to realize is your job will be fine without you. They were fine before you got hired. And they'll be fine without you. And all the shit that you're leaving behind will still be there waiting for you. So you're not missing anything,
Yeah.
So take the freaking day. Take a vacation. Like, go enjoy yourself.
Yeah, it's true. And it's good self-care, and that's how you prevent burnout. I found though, like working in a school too, I was just telling my mom this, because we were talking about, sick time, and I don't know, just working in a school, since I've only been there like a year and a half. And I forgot what I was gonna say.
That you
Fireball's
find that,
getting.
are you saying you find that the built-in days that,
Oh yes,
yeah.
like like when I worked at the hospital or whatever, we got a decent amount of time, but like we could be scheduled to work holidays and stuff. It was like a matter of like if you were going to be allowed to take the time.
Yeah.
And and working in a school, I'm like, oh my god, like every couple of weeks, like we got like a week off or something, like, or a day, or like I don't even feel a need to take them, which is good. I think that is, like I said, it goes back to like the employer feeling appreciated, feeling like you matter, and they want you to have a good quality of life and time off and practice self-care. So I do like that part about working in a school that I didn't experience at all my other, places
Yeah.
of employment as a social worker.
But I also feel like working at a school, it's like there's this like roller coaster. I feel like we come in, we're like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and we're like, yeah, we're so excited, can't wait to meet our new like kids on our
Yeah.
caseload, and yeah, we're gonna conquer this school year, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do all that, and then the school year is going, and like it's like after winter break, everyone just looks like they're dead, like they're done.
How are we gonna make it through?
Right? How are we gonna push through to June? Like,
Right.
we're not, like, everyone's just pretty much like the
Yeah.
sense of adventure and the eagerness is just all out of them, and they're just ready for summer.
Yeah, I remember last year, which was my first year in like the school setting, after February break, like we came back and like all my coworkers were like, all right, this is the stretch. And I'm like, the stretch? And they're like, yeah, the stretch. You don't know about the stretch? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, this is like the stretch, like that last push to the end. It's very hard. Like March is like a super long month. It just drags on forever. Like you really just gotta like lean on each other, and we just gotta push through. So I was like, oh my God, we're gonna make it through the stretch. And then like COVID hit. So I'm like, oh my God, I haven't even experienced that. So now this year,
You're gonna experience it. We were just talking about that too. My coworkers and I were texting each other, and we're like, "Oh my gosh!" After our last break that we had, like the long Valentine's Day weekend, we're like, "March, there's no more breaks. We're like March doesn't have
April.
anything. It goes straight through, and then we have spring break at the beginning of April. But
Yes.
other than that, I'm like, it's a long stretch. How are we?"
Right.
We're all like, how are we going to do this? And everyone's like, we're just going to have to lean on each other. We're going to have to use our coping our coping strategies. And I'm like, yeah, we're going to need alcohol. We're going to
need alcohol.
Yeah, I'm like, we're going to need alcohol.
Some burnout drinks.
Like meditation. We're going to need all the resources. Give us all the resources. I'm like, because it's going to be rough. Like, rough.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I remember though talking about it though, and it was like, you know what? That's when you use your personal days. Like you have to be aware that's a big stretch. There's no days off. That's a perfect time. Like for me, who I feel like the school gives us lots of breaks, it's like, okay, this is the longest stretch in the academic calendar. So like this would be a good time for me to use a personal day or a mental health day or whatever. So I'll check myself there. And then I also wanted to say, like, just talking about self-care, and it's like we learn about it in school. You got to practice self-care. We talk about it throughout the field, like constantly, like, are you practicing your self-care? And like most social workers, I feel like I'm not the greatest at like intentionally doing something that's self-care. Like, and you really should be like intentional about it, but I'm not that intentional. But I feel like I'm good at like listening to my body. Kind of like you just said, like, I'm sleeping a lot and I don't know why I'm sleeping a lot, but it's like, okay, but that's what your body's saying. You need that rest, and that's a form of self-care. So I'm like good at like doing that, like what comes natural to like my body to take care of itself, not intentionally, but like, okay, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep, or I feel like doing this, or I feel like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like unintentional self-care that happens that gets me through.
Right. Right. Yeah. So maybe it's time that I take a vacation, even though we just got
About that.
break. Maybe that's my body telling me I need to take a few more days.
Yeah, you're still tired. So you know what?
Oh gosh. But yeah. So like I said, we use the fireball because that's the burn. And it's just that's how you feel. You just feel like the only word I can think to describe burnout is you just feel depleted. Like you have nothing left
Left to
inside of
give.
you to give to anybody.
Right, right.
And then it starts bleeding into your personal life. Like because you're so burnt out from work and you're so stressed.
You're like
Stressed.
irritable at home,
Right.
snapping at people.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how you find yourself, like just like nasty all around, and you
Yeah.
don't, and then you realize like you have to find the root of it, and it's like work is the root of it. So you're just like looking at your husband and you're like, why do you have to breathe today?
Why are you breathing?
I thought we agreed you would breathe Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Today is Thursday and you're breathing again. Right? So when you find yourself going there, that's when you're like, shit, it's not really his breathing that's bothering me.
Yeah.
It's the kids at my school breathing. No, I'm kidding. That's terrible. Oh gosh. But yeah, so like I said, we gave you like the signs that you could recognize when you're feeling burned out and what you can do to be proactive about it. But like you could be proactive, but like Merrick said, everyone experiences it at not just one point, at several points
Yeah.
in your life, in your career. And not even career, in your life too. Like you could be a student and you're burnt out because it's like, I know like when I was in grad school, my gosh, it was always like second semester. I was like, I'm done. I quit. I can't do it
There's
anymore.
no way I can write another paper. I can't
Right.
do another thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like that senioritis sets in, and it's like you don't want to do shit. You procrastinate. You find yourself at like a paper's due at midnight. It's 10:30, and you're like, yeah, typing away because you're like done with it. You're over it. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So do like take care of yourself when you start recognizing those signs. Or don't even wait for the signs. Like just make sure you're periodically taking some self-care time to do things and enjoy your burnout. When we came up with the name burnout, I'm like, man, I hope people don't think we're talking about crabs.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, it's not that type of a bird.
No.
But yeah, so and this is
and mothers can get burned out too.
I know, this is why I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out at home and burnt out at work. Can't even enjoy a burnout in but yeah, so like don't forget to
like, subscribe, follow.
Yeah.
And
let us know, comment. Let us know what you do to take care of yourself. Or if you have any tips of how you are proactive about burnout or how you manage burnout. Let us know. Let us know. Try our drink. I mean, I'm sure this is nothing new. This drink isn't anything unique.
Right. But you might want to have one just to warm your soul and prevent burnout by having a burnout. It's worked for me.
Warm your soul. I'm like,
warm your soul.
But yeah, so let us know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and follow us at Therapy, our virtual bar. Any final words?
I have none.
That's the burnout, you see? When you got no more words for anyone.
Burnout.
Well, thank you for watching.